So not all oils grow in the area in which you live. So frankincense does not grow in the southwest of the US. It grows in northern Africa, Somalia. So it's not always possible to get the essential oils that grow in the region in which you live. Yeah. So it's a good idea, but when possible. Yeah. So do you feel comfortable on chemotyping? It's just good to know that when someone says, go get yourself some rosemary for X, Y, or Z, you might want to ask any particular species or any particular chemotype. And if they are knowledgeable and an aromatherapist, they'll probably have already given you that information. But just know that if you see something online, it's good to dig a little deeper and to know more. So there's so many uses of essential oils. There's bath. You can use them for skincare, for supporting healthy, glowing skin. You can use them in the diffuser or in an inhaler stick for respiratory support. You could put them in that inhaler stick for helping to settle the stomach if you're feeling a little queasy. You can use them to clean. Does anyone use essential oils to clean here? That's great. A lot of people will say to me, oh, I don't get organic because I just use it for cleaning. But you're standing over your sink cleaning and you're inhaling those essential oils. This is one of the fastest delivery methods into the body. So organic still matters when you're talking about cleaning products as well. We talked about neat, meaning undiluted. You can use them diluted as well. Some of them need to be diluted. In many cases, they will be used in food and flavoring or in supplements. And they can be used to make perfumes and for a variety of other purposes as well. So lavender is another essential oil that I wanted to discuss just because it is kind of considered a panacea or one of the be-all end-alls as far as essential oil. It is absolutely another top-selling essential oil in our country. It is an essential oil that's considered to be able to be used neatly or undiluted. But that doesn't mean that you can't dilute it. It's still effective. It's still a massive amount of plant material in just a little bit. But it is safe enough to be used neatly by most individuals. I mentioned how René Maurice Got-Fosset at the beginning coined the term scientific aromatherapy and aromatherapy. But what I didn't share is that when he was in his lab studying plant chemicals, he incurred a burn, and he used lavender on that burn and was astounded at the way that it helped with the discomfort, how it helped to support minimizing any infection, and how overall he healed very quickly from the burn when he used lavender on that. So that spurred his research into essential oils that really propelled him forward in his career in studying aromatherapy. And many, many other research trials have been done on lavender and essential oils in general. So if you ever want to look at them, you can always go to PubMed or Google Scholar or Medline. These are websites that are dedicated to scientific research and making those abstracts or the whole bit of research available to the general public. So I kind of live on those sites. I really appreciate them. Now, in addition to being often used for burns, lavender is often used for bites. So if someone gets a bug bite, sometimes they'll dab lavender on that to help minimize their tendency to want to itch, to help ease any discomfort. It is safe to be used even if your skin is open. So a lot of times people will have an accident, maybe they slide, they fall off their bike and there's an abrasion, they're scratched up, but their bone's kind of tender and sore from banging onto the concrete. I mentioned that peppermint can be good for supporting comfort, but I would never want to have peppermint, even in a diluted form, right on an open wound. It's just too much. But lavender can be used. You can use lavender to help assist with keeping the wound clean and to help with the resolution of the whole challenge. Once that tissue is healed over and there's no open wound anymore, then you may progress onto something because often the bone will be sore and tender long after the skin has healed. So just keep in mind, lavender is safe neatly in all of those situations. And it's used in Europe as a carrier as well. So there are certain situations in which you wouldn't put an essential oil directly on the skin. So let's say someone is dealing with some itchiness and stuff between their toes, and they're thinking, oh, I read a book that said oregano is great for that. So they want to put oregano on their skin, but you can't use oregano directly on the skin either. It needs to be diluted. If it's something that involves fungi thrive in moist, damp environments. You can think about mushrooms in the forest. They hang out under the leaf litter. It's moist, it's dark. That's a great environment for them. So a lot of challenges that we may have on the foot or on the groin have to do with the fact that we have socks on, we have shoes on, we have underwear, we have our pants on, all close to our body, and those sorts of challenges thrive in those moist, dark, damp environments. That's a good thing to know because you wouldn't necessarily put oregano in a carrier oil and then apply it to the feet because the carrier oil helps lock in moisture. A lot of times we'll use a carrier oil. It's not even fair to call them carrier oils because they do so much more than just carry an essential oil. But we may use a virgin plant oil or a carrier oil to help lock in moisture after we've taken a bath or washed our face or sprayed our face with a hydrosol. The fatty oil will help lock in that moisture. It also creates a protective barrier against the elements and can help strengthen and support our skin cells' integrity and may help with collagen production. I've seen some research on virgin plant oils being supportive of collagen production. But when we talk about maybe an itchy foot or something like that, we don't necessarily want to put an oil that locks in the moisture between the toes. So then what do? How do you get oregano onto the skin without burning yourself? You can put oregano into lavender. The Europeans and French medical aromatherapists will use lavender as a carrier. So if you were to look at the book and you saw that oregano said 1% dilution is a pretty good safe number, you would know that a 1% dilution, and I like to think of it in dollars and cents, is that 1 drop of oregano into 100 drops of carrier is a 1% solution, right? 1 penny is 1% of a dollar. So the carrier oils are not always a great carrier or delivery agent. In some cases, that's when you can use lavender. So 1 drop of oregano in 100 drops of lavender, you could just mix in a blender bottle, an empty blender bottle, and then use that, shake that up, use that as your master blend, and then apply that to the feet or toes and so on. Yes?
Is almond oil, coconut oil, olive oil, are they all carrier oils that you could use? I
Yes.
mean, not all of us realize that lavender is a carrier.
Right. You can absolutely use any of those virgin plant oils, coconut, almond, as a carrier to put your essential oils in. But like I was saying, if you have a challenge and it's one that tends to thrive in a moist, dark environment, but moist being the key factor there, you wouldn't want to put the carrier oil and lock in that challenge. You want to put oregano in lavender and then apply it so you're not locking in any moisture that might exacerbate the situation. And I am happy to stick around after this. We'll definitely open it up for some more Q&A toward the end. But if anything that I say, and even if I say it again because you've asked still doesn't make sense, I'm absolutely happy to stick around and we can talk further about the nitty-gritty of all this good stuff. So I hope that that's helpful. Okay, yeah, so we'll talk some more in a bit. So lavender can be used as a carrier in cases where virgin plant oils are not a wise carrier choice. So a drop of oregano and 100 drops of lavender may be a great approach. And it's not only oregano that may be used in the lavender carrier. That's just one simple example. So lavender is one of the sort of be-all, end-all essential oils, and you'll see that in a lot of formulas and even wellness blends as the carrier. It is a carrier of sorts in the mental clarity that I came around and put on you. So it wasn't straight peppermint, it was peppermint diluted in lavender with some additional essential oils. Tea tree is another essential oil that is highly popular. It's very medicinal. It's got a very medicinal aroma, and it's long been touted as supportive for fungal challenges. I've seen research that talks about tea tree being effective against certain molds in the home. So if you have black mold or windows that tend to mold up rather quickly, you could use tea tree in a spray bottle, spray your windows, and use that to clean. And then again, for you, it's not a toxic cleaning agent, but it does do a fantastic job. So tea tree has a long history and use and reputation for supporting microbial balance. It can also be used for respiratory health, and you'll often see it in blends for its use for those purposes. You wouldn't necessarily, if you don't particularly care for the fragrance of tea tree by itself, you wouldn't necessarily lose any benefits if you diluted some tea tree in something like lavender. So Pronarome makes a particular blend that's called Immunity Boost, and that's really a formula that I like because I don't love the smell of tea tree in my home, and I don't necessarily, if I have a fingernail challenge and I want to put some tea tree on it, I feel like it's advertising that like, oh, she smells like she's treating a fungus or something like that. So what I love is that the lavender or the tea tree in lavender is no less effective, but it just smells a little bit nicer to me. There is Eucalyptus radiata in that Immunity Boost, and we can look at formulas later. Garrett and I will be happy to come downstairs and help you find things and answer further questions. But tea tree is another highly popular essential oil and must-have for the first aid kit. Now, I mentioned that there are a variety of different species of eucalyptus, and this slide just shows you a few of them, 3 of them. There's Eucalyptus globulus, which is a very popular essential oil, and it's long been used for respiratory support. The globulus is one that's high in the 1,8 cineol. You can see here that it often has about 62.7% cineol. That's even higher than the rosemary cineol that we talked about. Just know that this one's really widely used for circulation and respiratory support, but if someone has asthma, and this comment stands for all essential oils, I wouldn't use a lot of Eucalyptus globulus or really any essential oil in the diffuser or in the home unless you've established that that's an essential oil that will not trigger breathing difficulties, a potential asthma attack. What you might do is just open a bottle and say, hey, what do you think of this one, and have them smell it. And if that smells good to them, you could kind of increase the duration and just make sure that it doesn't cause any challenges. As with all essential oils, like I said, if someone does have asthma, you do need to go very mindfully. And also keep in mind that when they're in the diffuser, if it's on for 6-8 hours, that's a long period of time that you're essentially ingesting the essential oils. So an inhaler stick may be a better choice for someone that wants to support respiratory health, but too much is not a good thing for them. So good thing to know. The Eucalyptus radiata is called narrow leaf peppermint, so it's just a different species of eucalyptus. It's got a lot of expectorant properties just like the eucalyptus does, so there's a lot of crossover. Similarly, it has a high cineol content. Often the Eucalyptus radiata is more used for children, but it was the first eucalyptus species that was commercially used for essential oil purposes. The Eucalyptus citriodora is another one, and this is called lemon-scented gum, and it's a lemon eucalyptus. It's not lemon blended with eucalyptus. It's just a species of eucalyptus that has a more lemony aroma. And lemon eucalyptus has more of a reputation, and you'll see it more in pain management products. You'll see it in muscle rubs, you'll see it in bath salts and soaks that are designed to support comfort. Another feature of lemon eucalyptus is that even on the CDC website, you'll see that it's mentioned as an acceptable essential oil to protect you against mosquitoes. So great thing to know. You can always take some lemon eucalyptus and mix that in a bottle, a spray bottle, with some witch hazel. That's typically what I'll do at home. Shake it up, spray it on the body, and it does a great job at repelling mosquitoes. So the CDC would not put that on their website if there wasn't a good amount of research and validity to that comment. So that's the eucalyptus species.
So the people always say make sure it says DEET so that you don't get a mosquito bite.
Right.
With West Nile virus. So is this?
It repels mosquitoes. So whether, I mean, they don't distinguish, it repels mosquitoes that carry West Nile, because they don't even know which ones
Oh, no, I
carry
know.
which. But it is an acceptable essential oil for repelling mosquitoes, and if you keep them away and all of them at bay, you're going to be in good shape as far as minimizing, avoiding, or halting altogether contracting anything that you don't want to. Yeah. So a lot of times, like for my kid, when he goes to camp, if it is a camp where they do want him to have a DEET product, I'll just pick something up and I'll tell him, spray your shoes, spray your jeans, don't put it all over your face. Use the lemon eucalyptus on your hair and on your face, and then just use those other products if they're required for pants, clothing, etc. So that's our personal approach.